We have loads of Star Citizen news for you today. Love is in the air with Core and more. The Hover Quad has finally been released, and we have a very meaty sprint report that highlighted development work on locations, the Banu Merchantman, among other ships, and much, much more. Let's start with that development sprint report from Inside Star Citizen, Sprint Stint. Derelict and Rex have continued to see work with various modular pieces being made to add life and variance within these points of interest and locations that we're about to find around the game. They're currently building and breaking lots of wrecks, like with the Starfarer, smashing up into lots of different parts, having it warped based on the biome it's in, and building a asset and database zoo with these pieces of points of interest and derelicts and ships, so they can drop them in-game, they can edit them slightly if they need them, and they've just got this huge zoo that they can go, oh, let's use this bit here and this bit here. We don't use space stations much for FPS at the moment, but in the future, we will. Outlaw space stations will have various exploration and traversal opportunities, as well as tactical opportunities for you getting into a particular position or lots of different ways of doing missions. So you might find some interesting vents that you'll be able to get into, or maybe you'll be able to get up into the ceiling or under the floor or on a catwalk if you spend the time to look around and move stuff around. There may be loots and secrets and lots of different ways of doing missions. And Cloud Imperium are building out all these different types of entry and interesting locations at the moment. Hangars are being built out for the rings in space stations, so they're just adding more functionality, a bit more cool to them, reasons to go to the central rings and actually fly and land certain ships there, and actually have hangars there rather than just landing pads, things like that. The reputation system and its UI continues to evolve, and they are exploring icons for various career paths. So they looked at ones for kidnapping, hauling, smuggling and theft, but they also showed ones for salvage, emergency response, espionage, security, courier, racing, mining, medicine, bounty hunting and more. These are different career paths that they plan to have in the game, and they have big plans for the reputation system, careers, and missions to support it. They've done a pass on the Mantis's cockpit. They update ships every so often, bringing them up to sort of standard, making them more performant, doing lighting passes, things like that on them, making sure that they don't sort of fall into disrepair in a more technological standpoint. So they've built out some executive offices at Orison, and you're going to see these in the future. They're going to be on some of the raised landing platforms. They're going to be tied to potentially missions in the future. You'll be able to explore them, go in them. They're going to have elevators and things. You'll be able to move around in them. They showed the final art phase for the Vulture light salvager. It's nearly done. They confirmed that the Salvage and the Vulture are still intended to release later this year. Hopefully that will be 3.18. The Mistral A is even more done, and that should be ready for 3.17. They're trying to refine that expanding, contracting cargo grid too, because the ship expands out and then can put cargo boxes on its spindles. The Banu Merchantman, that continues to see airtime as it goes through its white box, and they're mapping out all of the internals of the ship and its externals, and then it will go into grey box. So they showed the main bridge. This is actually pretty massive, the main bridge. It has a staircase that leads off into a turret room above. The engineering section is also a focus at the moment, so they want to make sure everything's to the correct metric. They've opened up the room more as well, so it looks a bit more grand, but they've also had to go, you know what, we want the ship to be a certain size. They can't make this massive, but they want it to look interesting and grand and like, ooh. The habitation area has a Banu shrine, which they're going to talk about in the future. They also showed a very unique turret access point. It's sort of really massive, and it's on like a platform. You have to go across like a little bridge to get to it, and you can also see underneath it. People can literally look up into this where this turret is in this turret access area. It's big, it's alien, it's gonna suck you up into it and then raise above the ship. So really cool looking. I do think the Banu Merchantman is one of the most hyped and sort of most anticipated ships. Hopefully we will see it come to fruition over the next year, but I'm very much looking forward to seeing it developed over the next year, even if it's not ready. We'll have to wait and see, I suppose. They are concepting old and ancient outposts, ones that have been abandoned or entirely destroyed. Basically ruins. Ruins that we might come across in-game, or we might see pirates and people starting to rebuild them, or maybe some of the buildings are destroyed in a little village. But they are also building out the zoo for outposts, derelicts, and sort of these outposts that we're going to find in Pyro. So they have all these modular sections that they can place, and then they can hand place them, bam, 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 which we'll see first, but in the future we might see them procedurally assisted in their generation as well, so which will allow them to build out large sections of planets and interest in areas much more quickly, much more easily, and then they can go down with an artist and actually move stuff around if they want. You can expect to see these adding gameplay in the Pyro system in the not too distant future. So, let's move on to some events and some other news. It's Quarter More in Star Citizen. Star Citizen Valentine's, basically. More tangibly, this means that there's a ship sale on with pink paints. You can grab the Nomad, Ares, and finally released the Hover Quad, all with metallic pink paints. The Hornet Heartseeker, which is basically a Super Hornet with a different loadout and paint scheme, is also on sale, as is a discounted upgrade for that ship as well. So let's talk about the Hover Quad. That's actually now released, flyable in game, and it's on sale on the RSI website. It's from $25, so it's pretty cheap war bond, $30 store credit. If you are going to buy it, you probably want to buy the $25 one, because that comes with lifetime insurance and then can be used as an upgrade token. So you can go, I want to get lifetime insurance on another ship, but I don't know what ship. Later on, after you've bought your lifetime insurance Hover Quad, you can upgrade it to another ship, and it gets the lifetime insurance on the new ship you upgrade to. Do you see what I mean? It's a clever thing. That said, you will be able to get all of these ships in-game, so also bear that in mind. Now, the Hover Quad itself is a relatively cheap, single-seater civilian transport and exploration hoverbike from Consolidated Outland. It's supposed to be very stable, comfortable, and reliable as a ride, and it has a little bit of cargo space that you can access with it, but it has no weapons or shields. It's pretty small at 4.5 meters long and 2.5 meters wide and 1.1 meter high. It has a max speed of 600 meters per second in space and 200 on a planet. It also pairs perfectly with the Nomad, as it can fit in the rear section of that ship, and there's a package on sale reflecting the Nomad coming with the Hover Quad as a bundle. You can buy a variety of skins for the Hover Quad. Currently, in addition to that pink one, there is a orange and yellow one, a black one with red accents, and a white one with copper accents. It appears the sale is going to be quite popular, or already is quite popular, I suppose, because yesterday Cloud Imperium pulled in over $700,000 in funding. That's just a single day. It's not even a big sales period or anything. Madness. So we also had the Q&A for the Hover Quad at the same time. Let me read out some of the highlights and questions here. Is it the same Gravlev tech as other vehicles? Yeah, it's all the Gravlev vehicles in the game use the same tech at the moment. What ships and vehicles can the Hover Quad fit into? It was designed to fit into the back of the Nomad, but it can actually fit into a few more, although it's not technically designed to. If you can fit a Greycat PTV buggy in a vehicle, then it can almost certainly fit a Hover Quad as well. How does its speed, handling, and overall size compare to other bikes like the Dragonfly and Nox? The Nox and Dragonfly have the Hover Quad beaten on straight line acceleration, but the Hover Quad excels in handling and turning agility. Does the Hover Quad have any storage for weapons, equipment, and cargo? So there's got a little bit of it on board storage for personal space, sort of like small items, but there's no other dedicated storage other than that. There's nothing to prevent you wearing your weapons and gear that you want to carry with you, and there's nothing behind you directly when you're sitting on this bike that sort of prevents you wearing weapons on your back, so you can carry those with you as the sort of idea. Does the Hover Quad have upgradable components? Yeah, just like other vehicles, it can upgrade its size 0 components or change them. How does the Hover Quad handle rough terrain in comparison to its competitors? Much better. It has a tighter turning radius and at speed is much more nimble. It's also much tougher in terms of the amount of damage it can withstand. What are the advantages and disadvantages of hover vehicles versus wheeled bikes? Hover vehicles naturally avoid any low terrain that may cause collision damage. However, because they're not touching the ground, they're much more susceptible to external forces, such as wind, I'm assuming getting hit by weapons. How fast can the Hover Quad travel over terrain? Well, like all Gravlev vehicles, the max is currently 200 meters a second on a planet's surface, which is similar to the rest of the bikes. However, it does vary depending on the planet's atmosphere and gravity, and the height that you ride your bike at, obviously. Do the hover pads retract if the engines are turned off to conserve space when stored on ships? There is no dedicated compact storage mode like the Dragonfly, and it's not intended to have that. The Hover Quad's nacelles are planned to rotate and adjust though during movement, but this is not functional currently. It will be functional in a future release. Please remember that Xenothreat is on until the 14th of February, so get involved with that if you haven't already. There was a little hotfix which should solve some of the mission problems with missions not appearing in the Mobigraph as well, so you should be able to now much more easily get access to that mission and more. There is also a free fly that's going to be starting on the 17th of February as well, and we're expecting Jumptown and some other event stuff like the Lighthouse Lockdown to come back too. But boom! That's it for your Star Citizen news update and sprint report summary. I'm very much looking forward to seeing the Banu Merchantman developed over the next year, and the addition of new locations and careers is always welcome to see in updates. I love sprint reports. But what do you think? Do you like the Hoverquad or any of those skins? Are you going to be playing in Xenothreat over the next few days? What would you like to see Cloud Imperium cover in Inside Star Citizen or in development reports? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below.
Mummy, my friend told me at school today that Star Citizen was a scam. Oh, Tim, is that why you got into a fight? Yes, Mummy. The only scam is people stealing all your internet infos and blocking your ability to watch things on Netflix and such with regional-based access. That's why we use our words, Tim. You should have told those bullies to get NordVPN, and also that Star Citizen is the best damn space sim ever.
Yes, these two people are right. Get NordVPN, and also Star Citizen's great. Also, Timmy was a 35-year-old teacher at the school. And it wasn't even a school, it was a pub, and he was a barman. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and for February 2022, it's for an Aegis Saber, the high-tech medium fighter with loads of firepower, but it comes in an auspicious red paint scheme as part of the Red Festival, as well as lifetime insurance and a Star Citizen game package. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning is comment on any of my videos made during the month. You can further support the channel by clicking the join button underneath any of my videos. You can also donate or become a Patreon. Your feedback, though, from comments really helps the channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And also, if you're looking for a diegetic little controlly boy that makes your Star Citizen experience and potentially some other games pretty good fun on your touchscreen devices, then check out GameGlass. You've got that, you've got NordVPN links, you've got loads of other stuff, all in the links below. Click them all! Click them all! Maybe not all of them, that would be madness.